get you to write the intro. I said no, and I'm so glad that they didn't. That was amazing, thank you. Who's got a great culture in their business? 1, 2, 3, 5 of my people don't know. Whose culture is a little bit kind of whiffy? Okay, so I guess everyone else is sort of in between, right? A little bit passive, people don't necessarily give much thought to that. And I think we've all got a culture in our business, so whatever's happening now, right now whilst you're here, your business is running on that culture back at home. So if it's great, it's great. If it's not, they've probably left by now. So my definition of culture in a business is, it's what happens when you're not there. And I think, when I think about my own business, when I think about Arc Solutions, I actually, speaking from the heart, I really, really love culture in a business. It feels like a big, extended playtime to me. It feels like that kind of break that you get at school where you get to do what you want, or you get to get the toys out, that type of thing, you know, on a kind of a wet Wednesday afternoon. So, you know, when I got the opportunity to speak with Cameron, I thought this is amazing because, first of all, a lot of the ideas I got from his book, so he doesn't know what we're going to talk about today. But secondly, it's just amazing to share them with the crowd at EO, because EO has given me so much in my business as well. And I, like Ben said, you know, probably a year ago, I would have been absolutely terrified to do this. It's helped with my confidence, it's helped with how I project myself, the image of our business, which has grown up in the last year, been hugely, hugely important. And I think if anyone's considering about joining EO, for all of those reasons, my personal journey has been massively influenced by that. And I think the members who are around this room would all agree with that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, by the way, we've got another fantastic speaker coming up who's in my forum, Martin, in a second. So I'm going to really plan with what I've got. So, what better way to talk about company culture hacks than to start with a hacker? Right? So, does anybody know who these guys are? Yeah, quick show of hands. Okay, great. So they're supposed to be famous, so that was for the three of you who've never heard of them, this is the famous New Zealand All Black rugby team. Right. Amazing record. Any Kiwis in? Right, okay, great. Any Aussies in? Yeah, okay. So, New Zealand's population is 5 million, right? It's tiny, it's tiny. And yet, this rugby football team has an enviable record in their field. 500 tests, World Cup winners 3 times out of 7. They shouldn't really be doing this, right? They shouldn't really be so successful as they are. But one of the things that they've got in their favour is an amazing culture. And their culture is driven by an onboarding ritual. It starts, they set the tone the minute that you go in there. And this famous black jersey with the silver crest that they get, they don't just get that on their first day in the job or their first week. They also get handed something else, less salubrious. Does anyone know what that is?
The broom.
A broom, exactly. And what they need to do is they've got this ritual called sweeping the sheds, right? So you're not a big shot, right? You might be playing against Australia or England on Saturday. But guess what, buddy? You're going to be cleaning out that changing room for the first week of training. And the reason they do that, obviously, is to make sure that no one gets ahead of themselves. This is a team and a culture. To maintain a winning record of, get this, 80% win rate over 40 years. Just to put that in context. Yeah, to put that in context, right? The winner of the Premier League, in this case Man City this year, that was their win ratio. To keep that up for 40 years is extraordinary. So they're doing something right. Now, this is about, what we do at Arc Solutions is, we get people to play together. We play probably a little bit too much in the business, right? But we play together and we celebrate everything together. In fact, one of our core values in the business is about winning together. So, we have no superstars in Arc Solutions. We don't do that. We like the All Blacks in that regard. We huddle together, we attack as a pack, we defend as a pack. But what we do is when we score, we celebrate as a team as well. And all the amazing kind of sales and marketing folks who get razzmatazed about all this type of thing, sorry, don't do that here. Go and grab one of the developers, one of the support team, one of the product guys that helped build this, and say to them thank you, and bring them up to the podium with you. So it's about acknowledging that this is a team game, and the way that we do that is we play silly games with them. And a couple of silly games we've got behind me are, we played Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, for example. So we got everybody, every time we did a deal on our brand new platform that we launched last year, we run a SaaS financial platform. We put the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music on the speakers. It creates a bit of a buzz in the office. We get everybody round, and then we pick somebody out of the hat who hasn't closed the deal, who isn't the salesperson, and we put them in the hot seat. And what's happening here, I should say, is the guy on the right is asking the guy on the left the questions, and they win a cash prize. My CFO is in here, so we did a rounding exercise on the cash prize, right? I think that they could win £100 instead of £1 million, but they get paid that at the end, and the euphoria that creates is fantastic, right? Just a bit of fun that we do. And then, instead of that being the end of it, we then take it a step further, and we say, if we do, for every deal that we close, we then had a situation where we had a dartboard in the office, and again we go and grab a developer or a support staff or an administrator or something. We say you're going to throw 3 darts here, and those 3 darts, whatever the value is on the dartboard, we put that into cash for a night out. And guess what we do? We then go to the darts club and play. So these themes that we all know through the Rockefeller habits, texts and things like that, really, really powerful in our business. But my belief is, especially with the kind of younger millennial workforce, they want to play games. They don't want to be chained to their desk, right? Now, one of the best things that we ever did, I think it might have just been previewed, is not a big fancy party or anything like that. We went to make pizzas together, and I got this idea from a sports analogy with Leicester City when they won the Premier League in 2016. They were kind of a little bit ahead of the pack. People think they didn't do it. So what they did is they went out and hired out a Pizza Express, the basement of one, made pizzas and bonded as a team. And I think this is one of the key events that we've done as a team that really, not just bonded us, but gave me, it was like a real life Myers-Briggs personality test. Like, who's going to grab all the toppings? Who wants to go first? Who wants their pizza done more than others? That type of thing. Who's willing to share? Who would eat a pizza that someone else has made? Right? All of this type of thing came out, and it was just a huge amount of fun as well. One thing that's massively underestimated, I think, in a business is the ability to tell stories. Who's the CEO, founder of a business here? Quick show of hands. It's about half our audience. We have, ladies and gentlemen, a real advantage in this regard. A real advantage. So, what I mean by that is, I did a CEO lunch and learn kind of thing a couple of days ago. Get the team around, we've got lots of new staff there, really kind of energetic young team that we're building. Guess what they wanted to know? They want to hear about, how did you start the business? What was it like at the start? Tell me that story when you thought the business was going to go bust and you and your business partner, had to have that Burger King, and then you decided, that was going to be your last meal before you go back to your corporate jobs. Tell me that story again. And that really resonates in the team. They get the heart of the business at that point. And we were thinking, how is that scalable? How can we go to our business and sit with everybody who comes into the business and share with them, that story? And I thought, actually, it isn't. I'm happy to sit with each and every person as they come into the business for an hour, have a cup of tea with them, go through all of that stuff, just share that story from the heart and make it authentic. On the left, actually, these are our core values for the business, and our core values have been in place for now 7 years, haven't changed. They shouldn't change, right? These are things that are drawn from the DNA of a business, that are drawn from the DNA of a founder. Who doesn't have core values in their business? Brilliant. So we know the importance of those, and we live those every day. So our culture dictates how we use the core values. If we have to deal with someone's disciplinary, we can take them into a room with the core values on the wall, point at that and sit them under the relevant one, talk to them about that. It becomes really, really powerful. We also eat a lot of cake at Arc Solutions as well. Even in times of cash flow crisis, you can't skip on the cake. But even though this is systemized and we're approaching 100 people in our business now, everyone gets a cake. But they don't just get a cake, we don't just have a mass order that's kind of placed in there. We get a cake with somebody's name on it. We take the time to work out if they've got any allergies. Lady on the left likes an ice cream cake, this chap on the top likes chocolate cake. You get the idea. For my birthday, actually, they even got me a big pie. I think it was a northern stereotype, but you know, I did enjoy that, and I sat there eating it all day. But the other thing that we do in the business, which I personally do, to share food, and we know what it's like to have the opportunity to have a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner with the staff or with the team is a great opportunity to get to know them and bond with them. So one thing that I particularly do, which is kind of spooks people out as well, is if I've got nothing on for lunch, I'll kind of wander over to someone who we don't normally talk to, a software developer or a guy that's normally concentrating and doing a great job, say, what are you doing for lunch? And it's like, shit, what have I done, right? Why does Richard want to take me for lunch? I'll take them out for lunch. And we won't talk about work, we won't talk about their career, it'll be like, tell me about your family. Tell me about what's going on in your life. Give me some kind of levers that are going to help you, keep you in this organisation, and help you grow as a person, and help our culture grow at the back of that as well. I can't actually think of any time in our 10-year history where we have bought a leaving gift for anybody. That's not to say we haven't had people leave the business, but we have very low level of what we call regretted leavers, right? People who leave our business tend to leave because they go travelling, or another chap's had an opportunity with a family firm, that sort of thing. So we can count on one hand how many people that we didn't want to leave or went to a better place. So what we do, instead of buying leaving presents, is we buy welcoming gifts for people. And welcoming gifts tend to be in the form of a hamper or some sort of bottle of wine. And if you really want to get personal on this, in our interview process, we've started to weave in the fact that it's a question, what's your spouse's name, what's your husband's name? What do they like to do at the weekend? And each person that's doing that interview will note that down. And if we hire that person, guess what? This gift is going to be tailored to that. So actually, the cool thing around this is, then people start putting this stuff on Instagram, right? And then you can start linking it into the company pages. So this one on the left-hand side is written, is this real life? And this was actually the first time that we ever did it, about 3 or 4 years ago. And that is amazing for someone that's hiring so many people into the business to go and look at this stuff that's been reposted and attached to our company. The one on the right, there you go, let's build great things together. It's almost like she knew my why, the reason why I go to work is to build great things, and I never want that to end. I never see that as particularly finished. So when people actually reflect back to me the language, which I think is relevant for my personal desire, my why, it makes me feel great. Now everyone actually at Arc Solutions has got great hair as well, right? And there's a reason for that. The reason for that is we pay people to look good. Now, in the corporate jobs that I've had in the past, we've had a kind of hierarchy of needs, if you like, in terms of benefits. And we all know what those kind of benefits are. You've got health insurance, life insurance, all that stuff which kind of lurks at the bottom of that hierarchy, which is expected. And of course, we have all that in place. The interesting thing is, though, now, people want a little bit more. So we've got stuff which people talk about in the pub, that they tell their friends about. We had one instance, we're just running a graduate program, and one of the girls that joined the graduate program told me in the pub last week, I picked you because I saw the presentation that you give people a free haircut. Right? And it was like, right, okay, that's great. So what does that actually mean? Look, everyone gets £100 a year to look great, right? So if you've got a family party or a wedding to go and get yourself kind of made up on us, right? That's really important. We also do something called paternity leave. So if you get a new arrival in your family, this is a dog or a cat, 2 days off to bed them in, right? That sort of thing. Better than phoning in sick, right? Or pretending that, you know, I've got a problem. Just tell us about it. That's fine, we get that. I'm a dog lover myself. And then I think the third thing which is amazing, and all the EOs know about the kind of power of 3, everything comes in a magic packet of 3. The third one is, we also want to create interesting people in the business as well, not just people that come to work. So we pay for interesting training packages. So everyone gets £500 a year to go and get themselves interested. So that might be learning to drive, we'll pay for that, learning a foreign language, learning to swim, you know, etc., go on a writing course, whatever it is. Golden rule though, it cannot be work related, right? We do all that training stuff, and the hierarchy of needs, that's in there, right? We get that. And I think one of the most amazing ones that we had the other day was the most creative, I think, was one young lady said that she wanted to learn British Sign Language, which I thought was a fantastic way of using that allowance. Really, really great creative thing. By the way, I think when we're hiring staff, we prefer them alive. I didn't check this. I didn't really check this before it went out. But I think this is absolutely key, and this is about getting the right people in the business to enjoy some of those benefits and enjoy that culture, right? You know, to be honest with you, we messed about with this one for ages. £5,000 sounds like a lot, you know. It is a lot until you get a recruiter's bill of 20,000, you know, and then you have to move that person on and all this stuff. So I think we had the courage as a business to do this, and I'm really glad that we did, because actually this enables us to get the right people in. We all know great people. My team is great. So if they know a couple of great people and they get paid for that, isn't that a fantastic thing to do? I think that most of our team has been hired in through referrals from ex or current members of staff. Okay, so all this nice fluffy culture stuff that you can't touch, somewhere along the line is going to say, how does that pay for itself? I get that. We all have investors or boards or people that you know, count money at the end of the day. So we now have 5 years worth of information in our business about how our people feel. So one of our KPIs is not just customer satisfaction, but employee satisfaction as well. So out of 10, how are you feeling about working at Arc Solutions? Right, and I can now see that over a 5-year period. So if I'm going to raise money from an investor, or tell the customers about, tell the customers about what it's really like to work here, isn't it great to put that in your proposal pack? So that you go there and say, look, buy from us, buy from Arc, but we know there's competition out there, but we just want to show you what it's actually like to work here. And we have so many people in our customer base that actually want to come and work for us as well. And this sort of initiative is responsible for that. Now, you know, I talked a little bit about training before. The bit on the, I appreciate it's difficult to see here, but the top culture driver at the top, you see the training 20. Based over 2 years questioning, that came back as the absolute hotspot in the business of what people wanted. So the next thing on there is career progression. But, you know, people talk about culture, eating strategy for breakfast and all that sort of thing. Well, actually training is outstripping by 10 times what people wanted. So guess where we went first? We went and built a fantastic training package for people. On top of this as well, we do this kind of, you know, monthly kind of checkpoint on the business. So when was the last time you recognised for going the extra mile at Arc Solutions? And if people don't feel wanted and satisfied, we were concerned when we got 73%, you know, out of 100 obviously. So what's going on in the business? Let's delve a bit further into that. Let's have more sessions around that. Let's do more lunch and learns to find out how people can feel more satisfied about their job.
Question. What type of tool are you using there? Because Sure. You currently have some benchmarks there.
Yeah, sure. So this is called Tiny Pulse, which is, I believe David knew is EO as well from someone shouted out, San Diego? Seattle, yeah. Thanks. So you're an investor in this company? Oh, right, okay.
It's a great company.
It's a great company, isn't it?
Can we get some discount from you?
Yeah, if you send me a note, I'll get you an introduction to him.
So, you're going to love the next one, because I think your book's on that as well. This is just all falling into place nicely, isn't it? But actually, here's me doing something quite strange. So if anyone wants to contact me, they can get me on email or that phone number. But actually, I write a lot as well. I actually did an English degree at college, which hasn't been any use to me whatsoever, apart from doing activities like this. But what I'm doing in the background there is writing. We took this picture on May 31st, and that pile of cards there has been arranged by my assistants, because these are all the people in the organisation who've got a work anniversary in June. And what I do is, I look at that list, I pick a card out and think, okay, that's for so-and-so, and I think they'll like that card, and then I spend 5 minutes writing it. So I spent half an hour doing 6 or 7 this month, and then she maintains, or HR manager maintains, when that stuff needs to go out. They post it. All I need to do is have 5 minutes of pure thought and think, well, actually, say thank you to that person. Always begins with a thank you. And then I sit and think about the time that they made a contribution to our business in the last 12 months. So I sit there and think, actually, they were really intrinsic in launching a product, a great sales deal they did, or what a customer said about them. Get really, really personal on that and log that for prosperity. So, that's what I brought today. Hopefully, those of you that run a business will take one of these away. Please let me know if you use one of these hacks. I'd love to hear about that. And of course, in the spirit of EO, I learned all of this from EO. Didn't just kind of wake up one morning and do that. I think every book that we read, or every kind of hack that we put together came from an EO influencer, either on my amazing forum or the wider network, or listening to speakers like Cameron. So I'm very grateful to EO for what it gives to our business and to help us grow it. Okay, thank you very much.